Germany's industrial exports to China are currently falling at an alarming rate, and this decline is creating a massive, growing void in the very heart of the European economy. In just a few short years, we have seen the volume of German goods entering the Chinese market drop by nearly 25%. The reason these figures are so critical to understand is that this evaporation of trade is not just a temporary dip, but represents a structural collapse of the manufacturing model that sustained German prosperity for decades. As this central engine of Europe begins to fail, the impact is rapidly spreading through global supply chains and creating deep, lasting instability for international investors everywhere. For many years, the world relied on Germany as its stable core of engineering, while China served as its most loyal and lucrative buyer. When German industrial giants expanded their reach into China, it created a cycle of wealth where local incomes rose, and the entire European Union felt the direct benefits of that massive growth. But today, that era of mutual dependence is reaching its end. Many researches and data confirm that this transition is already in motion, as we see major German corporations issuing consecutive profit warnings specifically due to their increasing struggles within China. This new reality, often referred to as China Shock 2.0, reveals a fundamental shift where Chinese competitors are no longer just customers, but are now actively replacing German products with their own advanced alternatives. Because of how deeply these two economies are intertwined, when the demand for German machinery or luxury vehicles drops even slightly, the strain is felt immediately across the industrial heartland along the Rhine. This extreme sensitivity is exactly why the current decline matters so much to every global partner who relies on the strength of German industry. So the question becomes clear: why did this once solid relationship change so rapidly? To find the answer, we must look back to the golden age of their partnership and discover where the dilemma of China's rise as a powerful competitor truly began. It all started in the early 2000s, during a unique period that defined a strategic golden age between these two nations. At that time, the world witnessed an almost perfect economic synergy, where German high-end engineering met the explosive growth of the Chinese market. It was a remarkable period when both nations found exactly what they needed in each other to fuel their own ambitions for the future. Germany provided the sophisticated machinery and technical expertise required to build a modern nation, while China opened its doors to become both a massive production hub and an insatiable consumer base for the world. This arrangement was far more than a simple trade deal, as it grew into a deep structural partnership that drove global prosperity for over 2 decades. Throughout the long era of Angela Merkel, German industrial giants like Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, and BASF were not just selling products, but were essentially building the very foundation of Chinese industry. These corporations became essential partners in China's rapid modernization by providing the specific technology and high-precision tools that allowed China to transform itself into the world's factory. As German luxury cars and industrial brands became the ultimate symbols of success in China, the immense profits flowing back to Germany supported the high wages and the stable social system that Germans take pride in today. For a long time, the roles in this relationship seemed clearly defined, as Germany would act as the lifelong teacher of engineering, while China remained the loyal and rapidly growing student. This sophisticated system, where Germany handled the high-level design and China managed the massive assembly, appeared so stable that many believed this win-win era would last forever. But even during this period of total success, the first quiet signs of a fundamental shift were already beginning to emerge within the gears of this global engine. This shift began as China quietly moved away from its role as a simple assembly line and started pursuing its own ambitious vision for industrial dominance. Under the strategic roadmap known as Made in China 2025, the Chinese government shifted its focus toward building a fully independent supply chain and absorbing the very high-tech secrets that once belonged exclusively to the West. For decades, German companies had accepted a difficult trade-off, where they provided their advanced technology in exchange for access to the vast Chinese market. However, this transfer of knowledge allowed Chinese domestic firms to learn at an incredible speed, eventually moving from loyal students to aggressive and capable rivals. The most dramatic turning point arrived with the global shift toward electric vehicles and artificial intelligence, fields where the old rules of the internal combustion engine no longer applied. While German automakers were still perfecting their legendary diesel and gasoline engines, Chinese competitors were already leaping ahead by securing the entire battery supply chain and software expertise. This technological reversal meant that Chinese brands were no longer just producing cheaper alternatives, but were now offering superior digital experiences and advanced EV technology that appealed to the next generation of global consumers. The harsh reality facing Germany was that its once impenetrable fortress of engineering was being bypassed by a new wave of innovation that it had helped to foster. As a result, the balance of power had fundamentally shifted, and the reality facing Germany was colder than ever before. Now, the student had finished its long apprenticeship and was fully prepared to strike at the heart of the teacher's own markets. This shift has placed Germany in a precarious position that many are now calling a $90 billion trap. Today, the nation is facing a record-breaking trade deficit with China, a cold and undeniable figure that signals a fundamental breakdown in the old economic order that once seemed so reliable. As a result, the term de-risking has become the central theme in Berlin, as policymakers push for a gradual separation to protect the country from its dangerous overdependence on a single partner. However, the situation is far more complicated for the industrial giants on the ground, because companies like Volkswagen and BMW still rely on the Chinese market for a massive portion of their global profits. This creates a painful contradiction where the government demands caution and distance, but the corporations feel they have no choice but to double down on their investments in China. They are pouring more capital into the region simply to protect their existing market share and to keep pace with the rapid local innovation that is now moving faster than their own. Yet, despite these massive investments, the competitive landscape is shifting far more aggressively than anyone anticipated. As Chinese-made electric vehicles and high-tech machinery begin to dominate both their local markets and global trade routes, German products are losing the sacred ground they held for over a century. This industrial erosion is no longer just a boardroom problem, as the falling demand is putting immense downward pressure on manufacturing jobs back home in Germany. The factories that once fueled the entire European economy are now facing the real threat of downsizing, as the profits that once sustained them are being drained by more efficient and aggressive rivals. Consequently, the very foundation of German prosperity is being tested by a dilemma that offers no easy escape or simple solution. Germany now stands at a critical crossroads where every available path leads to a difficult and costly sacrifice. Therefore, the country must decide whether to accept the immense economic pain of a gradual separation or to embrace the growing risks of a permanent and dangerous dependency. This new direction, centered on the concept of de-risking, represents a delicate balancing act where Berlin seeks to reduce its vulnerability to China while desperately trying to maintain its industrial edge. We can see this complex diplomacy in action during recent high-level visits by German leadership and business delegations to Beijing. During these encounters, German officials have sent a clear and strategic message regarding China's massive industrial overcapacity, which threatens to flood global markets with artificially cheap goods. At the same time, German corporations on the ground are fundamentally changing their tactics to survive this new era of intense competition. Rather than relying on their old prestige, these firms are localized their operations more deeply than ever before, attempting to defend their market share by becoming as fast and agile as their Chinese rivals. However, even with these aggressive tactical shifts, the structural ties built over 2 decades cannot be unwound overnight. Germany is moving in multiple directions to find a new breakthrough, but escaping the immense economic gravity of China that was formed over several decades remains a daunting and uncertain task. So the final question is clear: what does the future truly hold for Germany? As we move past the era of guaranteed win-win cooperation, the nation is now forced to fundamentally redefine its place in the global economic order. The path forward requires a drastic shift, where German industry must look beyond its old comfort zones and explore a new strategy of market diversification. Today, we see German investment and attention rapidly shifting toward the emerging markets of Southeast Asia and India, searching for the vibrant growth that once defined the Chinese market. However, true survival will not come from just changing locations, but from a total transformation of the manufacturing model itself. Germany is now betting its future on a new industrial revolution, driven by AI-powered smart manufacturing and cutting-edge green energy technologies. This vision of Industry 2.0 represents an ambitious attempt to reclaim its status as a global leader by providing the world with the next generation of sustainable and highly efficient production tools. Yet, this transition remains a race against time, as the structural decline of old industries continues to exert heavy pressure on the nation's economic heart. Ultimately, the dilemma facing Germany is far more than just a local crisis, as it serves as a clear mirror for every manufacturing nation that relies on global trade. The choices made by Germany today will serve as a definitive milestone, shaping the future landscape of the entire international economy for decades to come. While the closing of an era is always marked by pain and uncertainty, it also creates the necessary space for a new and powerful beginning. So now, we must wait and see if Germany can find the strength to navigate this difficult transition and discover a new path to prosperity.